if, like me, you run lots of long-term forest school programs, particularly with younger children, chances are you use a lot of yarn, and it is something that probably lives in your backpack, toolbox, or forest school kit bag, because it is incredibly useful and great for making a whole lot of crafts, from dream catchers to God's eyes to all sorts of things. It is something colourful that really engages some children that just want to be able to do something tactile with their hands. It develops that kinesthetic, fine motor skill, and it is just all round handy to use. But the problem is that working in natural sites like this, rather than in classrooms with sweepable floors, is that you inevitably start losing bits and pieces of it. It might be a little bit snipped off to make a craft project look perfect. It might be a length that's just too small to be used, that just disappears under the tarp you're using, and then gets left behind after your sessions. And now with this increased awareness of microplastics and things that will persist in our environment, and a real need to make sure that we're looking after our spaces, I think it might be time to get rid of acrylic wool and see whether there are some other ways we can introduce colour and craft into forest school. So when we're looking at an alternative to acrylic yarn, what we're really looking for is something that is biodegradable, something that is made out of natural materials. Probably the easiest one to find is jute. Jute twine is really handy to have, and I think that every forest school leader should have a roll of this in their rucksack or kit bag. You can find it in most garden centres these days. It is biodegradable, easy to find. It's probably not going to have a massive amount of strength, but then you're looking at it more for craft projects, but it will also work for making tripods and so on, and making natural shelters. So it is a handy thing to have. The main issue you'll find forest school leaders is that the regular jute twine isn't that colourful. I mean, you have a choice of any colour as long as it's brown, but you can these days start getting jute twine in many other colours. So we have a bit of green here, we have a yellow. You can also get some really quite colourful Christmas style jute twines. These are really handy to find. So these you can get from Amazon. There's probably other shops out there that do them, and you can get some really nice colours from that. You'll find that if you're used to working with acrylic wool, this is a little bit rough on your hands, but I think that's okay. It feels more natural. It's more tactile, more earthy, more down to earth. It's good stuff. So I really use a whole lot of jute twine, and this is something that works great for little craft projects and is fantastic for that. You can also get from similar shops, similar garden stores, cotton twine. So it comes in a ball, usually used as more of a string type. So if you want to tie a line in place or tie the edges of something, it's quite nice. You only get it in white, but what you can do is you can dye this. So if you want to get a couple of these cotton wool balls and then dye them whatever color you want, and that might make a really nice forest school activity. So cotton, really useful. It's a bit stronger than jute, so it's really handy for those applications that there'll be a little bit more force involved. So far we've got jute and cotton. And another thing that I've just started playing around with is a bamboo cotton yarn. So this is when you want that that kind of wool feel, you want that soft feeling, and you're going to say make something, knit or crochet, or something that you want that tactile feeling of softness and flexibility. So these are really nice to work with. They come in many different colors, and they're pretty easy to find these days. So there are many different options. This won't be necessarily as strong as the jute and cotton, but a nice alternative. Now, of course, the most obvious alternative to acrylic wool is wool, real wool, the kind that comes from the sheep. And that really is a fantastic option. The only issue I have with it personally is that wool tends to be more expensive, unless you are buying the fleeces yourself and carding and spinning the wool as a hobby, in which case, fantastic, bring that to your sessions. That will just really move things along, being able to bring something in that you yourself have made and that has a real connection back to the original product. So either way, wool tends to be either time or energy expensive. So I don't really use it personally, but it would be a really nice thing for longer term sessions to really have something that has that softness and that real connection. Of course, if you've got a whole lot of time on your hands, another way you could look at this is making your own out of natural fibers. Now, this won't be as soft or as flexible as say a cotton or a bamboo mix, but it's a really nice project. And if you're only looking for a small amount of string to kind of finish up a nice craft project, to like hang a bauble that children have made, maybe try making your own. It's really quite simple. You can usually get most ages to do it. I have a whole video on the method of making natural cordage. You can get big bundles of raffia online and then use them to make your own cordage. And it can be, as I said, a really nice way to finish up a project, to make the string that's going to hang it, make the string for the necklace, for the elder beads that you've made, and great alternative to the resources that you need to buy in. And this will be a real connection. Even better if you can gather the nettles or the bramble or the willow from the land itself and use that. That will really bring that connection forward. So all in all, there are plenty of options for you if you're looking to move away from acrylic wool and help look after the wild spaces that we use for our sessions with. If there is a natural fiber or wool alternative that I have missed, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know your ideas. This is still an area where I'm developing things, where I'm looking to go further. As I said, I really like to do some cotton dyeing, but yeah, the jute twine is really handy to use. That's why I use for the majority of sessions. Cotton is useful as well, and I do play around a fair bit with the natural cordage, particularly with the older groups, the ones that need to be pushed a little bit further, and a way to make something that is uniquely handcrafted straight from the land. That I want to say thank you so much for Wellness Woodlands for hosting me again for this video. It is really nice being out here. I have to stop filming every now and again because we have the steam trains going past on the Severn Valley Railway. Luckily we don't have any sheep this week, but the grass is all mown and we've got the bird song in place. It really is a beautiful little corner, just a stone's throw from the Wire Forest and not too far from Bewdley. So if you're looking for a campsite to pop out to spend a weekend, get away from it all, I highly recommend it. I'll leave a link in the description down below. With that, thank you so much for watching. Remember to make the most of every day, and I'll see you next time.